So virtualization is not just changing how we work, but it's changing how we think about products, how we experience them online, and how we consume. And that is happening at such a scale, a 27% increase in e-commerce last year, reaching $4.2 trillion. We need to think about how we can get product information in a standardized way to all of the experiences out there that need it. And to show you more about that, I'm going to hand over to Bastian, who's working on some really important standards that accelerate that distribution mechanism.
Hi, my name is Bastian. I'm a rendering R&D engineer at Dassault Systèmes. 3D is the future of how we experience things online. Let me give you some insights on how we think we can make this a reality. Today's experience landscape is pretty much two-dimensional. All social media and e-commerce is based on 2D. Everyone's using images, videos to capture memories, share experiences, or sell products. And even from a developer's point of view, there's no challenge in handling 2D data, at least not on a higher level. Let's assume I send you a JPEG image. When you receive it on a smartphone, the phone will take care of it and just simply displays the image for you. You don't have to care about the data format. On a PC, in the worst case, you have to double-click the file to view it. And the image will look exactly the same on each of your devices. That's exactly what is required to make people use a medium on a large scale. You have to free them from thinking about the medium itself. So what about 3D? Assumed I sent you an FBX file. Would you know what to do with it? An expert might say, of course I do. I use my expert software to load it and view the contents. But as soon as you have two experts using two different software packages, they will get different results. And that's something we don't want to have. Every person who works with 3D today for visualization purposes, across application boundaries, faces major problems. Solving these problems usually requires significant domain knowledge and time. Staying inside boundaries of software packages hides the complexity to the user, but puts the burden on the developer. As soon as you go from software A to B, things will become unpleasant quickly. But we also do have well-working 3D end-user scenarios. In the web 3D context, for example, we see projects like car configurators or even web shops using 3D, but those are mainly custom solutions, based on custom or even proprietary technology. This causes fragmentation of the technology, data formats and tools. It simply doesn't scale. To make 3D really pervasive and available to the mainstream, we need standardization. Everybody needs to agree on what 3D data is, how to store it, and how to use it to put colorful pixels on your screen. Having such standards in place and the tools infrastructure for creation and consumption will give us the basis to bring 3D to many people. 3D standardization recently made great progress. On the renderer side, we have Google working on Model Viewer. Model Viewer is a web component which aims to make 3D in your browser accessible and easy to use. It should be as simple as using an image HTML tag. Having a company like Google working on Web 3D standardization sounds really promising to me, and it may really help to drive adoption for 3D on a large scale. Another project I'm thrilled about is GLTF. GLTF is a runtime 3D delivery format, which is specifically designed for web and mobile rendering use cases. GLTF intends to be the JPEG of 3D. It gained quite some momentum in the industry. Google Model Viewer, for example, is using it as native input format. Microsoft adopted GLTF for Windows and the Office products, so you can have GLTF 3D in your PowerPoint slides, if you like. GLTF also serves as input to popular web render engines like Babylon.js or 3.js. And of course, GLTF is available for export from latest 3D experience platform applications of 3DExcite. In summary, GLTF sounds like a promising answer to the 3D standard question for cross-device runtime deployment. GLTF is being developed by the Kronos Group, more specifically the 3D Formats Working Group of Kronos. Kronos is a company consortium where companies from many industries collaborate on open standards. Two very popular standards are OpenGL and Vulkan. Since 2017, We are part of the 3D Formats Working Group, and we actively contribute our knowledge to the development of GLTF. On a weekly basis, we meet with representatives of the biggest tech and retail companies on the planet to work on a common solution for the standard problem. Contributing knowledge to an open standard may sound somewhat unintuitive for a company like Dassault, but we are convinced that our knowledge and experience on rendering technology and industry use cases is quite extensive and unique, and that it may help to push the adoption of GLTF to a critical level. And a successful open standard is the foundation for our ambitions to extend our product pipeline into a large-scale commercialization. Again, I'm convinced that 3D on a general basis will be the future of how we experience things online. I'm not only talking about e-commerce scenarios. 3D will be ubiquitous and part of our daily lives. A universal 3D runtime standard will enable us to have fast, high quality, and most importantly, consistent rendering across all our devices and applications. There's a revolution coming, and we give our best to make sure that Dassault customers will get the front row seat in the transformation process. Next years are going to be interesting, so don't miss out on it.
So thank you for joining us on this latest installment in the 3D Excite vlog series. I hope you enjoyed it, and to stay in touch, to learn more, please follow us on social media and sign up at our user community. I'll see you next time.